Hi guys, this is Noiser, and if you missed the esports panel from the Rainbow Six Siege LAN, here's a chance for you to check that out. There was some sort of interesting slip from one of the panel members around the changes that are coming, that Ubisoft apparently are sort of taking a step backwards on some of the changes, but we'll get back to that, and I really encourage you to watch this panel if you didn't see it. Basically, the changes that are coming to esports, if you haven't seen the dev's diary on the subject already, is that the season will be 6 months and all teams will be able to meet each other twice in each region. So a lot of more matches and a lot of different matches, because with the pick and ban of operators, that could hugely change the meta. And also a big change, 5 defense rounds followed by 5 attacking rounds, and possibly a tiebreak after that will of course change a lot. But I'll just let you watch and listen to this one, and I'll see you soon again.
Welcome back to the Season 7 Finals live from Atlantic City. I am your host, Justin Kruger, community developer on Rainbow Six Siege. And we have a ton of info and content to break down from that dev diary, and a lot more that we need to discuss on this panel. But let's take a look at the future of Rainbow Six Siege for the next year of Season 8 and also Season 9 as well. There are so many ways to get involved in the competitive scene of esports. Of course, we have the Go4s, we have the LAN events for DreamHacks, and of course, we have the Challenger League. A new way to qualify for that Challenger League will be broken down in this panel. All the changes coming to the Pro League, where we're extending it to 6 months, will be broken down. And then, of course, we have the Paris Majors, our biggest event outside of the Six Invitational that will be coming up in August. All of this information will be broken down. And to help me do this, please give a big round of applause for our two amazing guests, Carrie Lambert, Esports Manager on Rainbow Six Siege, and Intero, the awesome broadcaster on that you've been listening to all weekend. Carrie, how are you doing? What's this event like for you?
It's great. It's my first full event. I got onboarded during the Invitational, and that was really hectic, but I'm super prepared and very excited to talk about this.
Yeah, you started just before the Six Invitational, thrown right into the fire, but you've been a welcomed addition to the team, and it's great to have you up here on a panel for the very first time as well. And somebody who's not shy from the camera, Parker. How's it going, man?
It's going really well.
How have the gains been so far?
The gains?
Gains.
I
mean the gains as well. You got some nice gains.
Are you saying I'm fat?
No.
We were treated to a good match.
You're like one sandwich away from being fat, though.
Wow.
Or one muffin. I saw you scarf down that muffin, Parker. Oh, that's so sweet. You have fans to back you up from my sassy comments.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I did eat a big breakfast today. The matches have been great. I mean, Penta's gonna, just steamroll everybody as is tradition. So that's great. Really great to see that. Glad Fabian's winning things.
Yes.
Happy, very happy.
He is.
Very happy about that.
They obviously moved on to the finals.
Really happy.
So Carrie, we had a lot that was in that dev diary, and we got to break it down, explain some of the reasoning behind this. And let's start with the Pro League format. Obviously moving to a 6-month Pro League, 14 play days instead of just about 5 or 6. And of course that new Pro League format where there's a lot of matches happening. Please explain some of the reasoning behind those decisions.
Yeah, so I think really the name of the game here is maturity. When the Pro League started, the game was new, and I feel like now in Season 7, moving into Season 8, we're really at that level with the players, with ourselves and with the fans, that we can start implementing some of these changes, especially with the double round robin format. And like I mentioned in the video, it will allow fans to see their teams in action every single week. But one of the biggest differences, I think, for me, is that teams will play every team will play every other team twice. And in the previous season, the teams would be ranged, the matches that would be played would be anywhere between 2 and 5. And now there's going to be 14. So I think this is a mature step that we're taking in the league.
Maturity, moving from what was sort of like a more tournament style league to now a full league, where you have 14 matches over the course of 6 months. You play each team twice. That's kind of huge and kind of important. Parker, what's the significance of that to the teams?
I think there were some pretty valid criticisms with the system that we've just done, and people saying that, you know, certain teams would be, you know, gifted an unfair bracket. Maybe they'd lose once and miss out on the playoffs, etc. This is a much fairer system. I'm really looking forward to it. And just from a spectator standpoint, as was said, you get to see every team every week. You know, if you're a fan of, you know, the Team Fluffy Kittens and they only play, you know, once every 2 weeks, or you know, they're in relegations, or, you know, you have to worry about whether they're playing or not, you can now watch every week. It's must-see viewing, and it's great. And you get to see teams make those changes, adaptations, and grow, you know, and be able to diversify their strategies as well as time goes on.
I can't wait to see Fluffy Kittens play against
that my
Penta
team?
in the
They're
finals.
really they're a great org.
Yeah, the great org.
Great org.
No, I mean, it's great for you as a caster as well,
Yeah.
being able to cast every team twice, I think.
It'll make my
significant.
notebook a lot easier to manage, I'll tell you that much. So I don't
Yeah,
have to
because
flip through.
And you actually have a basis to go on from the previous game to the next game to the finals. A lot more information, a lot more viewing experience, better viewing experience for these fans that are here at Atlantic City and watching at home. It's going to be really fun. Another huge change that we announced in that dev diary is the match format, going from obviously best of one, but also the 5 attack rounds and then the 5 defense rounds. Additionally, that round rotation is so key, and of course we also have the pick and bans. What is the reasoning behind some of these changes coming in the match format?
Yeah, so I think starting with the pick and ban, one of the main things that we're hoping to see is some next level strats from the players. I want to see them get creative and you know, really bring some diversity to gameplay with the new pick and ban system. And I think it was always the goal to have pick and ban. And again, you know, as I mentioned, I'm probably going to mention it a lot, but I feel like the team feels like the league is now in the place where it's mature enough to move forward with the pick and ban system. And with the 5v5, I feel like it's a better viewing experience, and it's more comfortable for the players to have this setup where they can play, you know, 5 attacker, 5 defensive.
Well, you have back-to-back rounds
back-to-back
now
rounds.
instead of swapping every round.
Yeah.
Parker, what is the significance of pick and bans to the strategy that these teams are going to actually have to implement?
I feel like one of the words that we use the most in casting is meta, and the way it shakes out on both attack and defense. And, you know, as certain operators have come into the map pool or into the operator pool, you look at Hibana, for example, you look at Mira on defense as 2 really crucial pivotal operators who have fundamentally changed not just the game, but maps and sites as well. You know, you end up banning a Mira and you're playing a certain map, well, you know, that could completely cripple a team. Same with Hibana, and you'll find that teams will have to be more innovative, and they'll have to, you know, actually go outside of their comfort zone in order to help come up with strats. Because it's no longer just going to be, okay, we need to figure out, you know, how do we defend this site, how do we push this site. It's how do we do it if there's no bandit to worry about, you know, how do we do it if there's no, you know, if there's no thermite, how do you make those strategies work? And it's going to be a lot of studying for teams and preparation, but I'm excited to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, a lot of studying, a lot of preparation, and also a lot of diversity as well, bringing that to the teams, to the viewing experience, and also, you know, the meta. It really is changing the way that the meta works, right, Carrie?
Yeah, it's actually something that we want to do with these changes is put the meta in the hands of the players. And you know, you spoke about diversity, and one of the things that we're doing that you know is also going to create diversity is we're actually changing up the how the bomb sites work. So if you successfully defend a bomb site, you have to play 2 more defensive rounds before you can defend that bomb site again.
So in the past, it was you'd have to play 1 defensive round to unlock that bomb site, and now you have to play 2 rounds.
Yes.
Okay. And how does that change the whole map pool moving forward?
Yeah, so of course, you know, this does bring some changes. Well, it would require a few changes to the map pool, and this is another thing that we wanted to bring up in the panel today, but after a discussion that we had with the players, we decided to put this topic on hold and you know, give more information on this in the upcoming weeks after we review.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. We take a step back, take a look at that. system a little bit, and we just had that meeting on Friday with the pros, and we're not afraid of taking a step back and taking a closer look at that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited to be able to take to Twitter to immediately just fire off some vague and passive-aggressive tweets now about these changes, whether I support it or oppose it. I'm sure people have seen that, some things. So
yeah, there might be a few things out there that are floating around about
maybe some silly tweets that maybe people shouldn't have sent, but that's okay. So I'm really happy that you're hitting the pause button on this, just from the things that I know. I think these are some pretty substantial changes, and I really like them, especially the site rotation. But I think the biggest concern with that for a lot of people is, look at a map like Oregon. It's got 2 great bomb sites, 2 not so great bomb sites. This change is not just going to impact the way players play, but also what maps they're likely to go to, because now you know that if you win those 2 sites, you're left with a less enviable 3rd site. That might be indirectly buffing maps like Consulate, like Coastline, that have a multitude of bomb sites that you can go to.
And I think we need to consider all of these things in the perspective of all the changes that are coming up. So we have the new Pro League format, the new pick and bans for the operators, where you're not going to be able to play 4 operators for the entire map, which is huge. It changes maps. It changes the experience of strategies. And then on top of that, you also have this bomb rotation system. So it's a lot of changes. It's kind of exciting. It's one of the biggest changes that we're introducing to the Pro League scene to date. Carrie, I mean, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I feel like as a team, we're confident that it's better to do this all at once than to spread it out and drag it out over a few seasons. We feel like it's the best move.
Absolutely. You'll be able to find more information on all of the changes on the website if you go to rainbow6.com. One of the other big changes that we're introducing is Challenger League. I think what we're doing right now is creating a more accessible way of entering into Challenger League.
Yeah, I think it brings a lot of importance to the Challenger League, giving them that direct entry into the Pro League at the end of the season if you're the top seed.
Yeah, and so how does that qualifications work for the Challenger League?
Yeah, so it's a 2-step process, with the first step being an open tournament ladder, where there's going to be an unlimited amount of teams with the possibility to sign up. All these teams can play as many times as they want, earning points to move into Step 2. Step 2 is going to be a closed tournament Swiss system, where the teams that move up from the first step play against the teams that drop down from the Challenger League in the last season. And the winner of this will move right on into the Challenger League.
Parker, what we saw in the Season 7 relegations in Challenger League was crazy. We only had 1 Pro League team move on.
Yeah, it was Gaming. That was it. Gaming was the
it.
only Pro League team that actually held its spot. You got 6 relegation matches, 5 teams out, 5 teams in, and it's something where Challenger League was kind of looked down upon many seasons ago, and you used to refer to teams in Pro League that would run Challenger League strats as kind of this derisive, oh, they're not prepared for Pro League. But I think we're at a point now, especially in particular regions, where you could conceivably argue that 3-4 of the teams in Challenger League could easily compete in Pro League. I like the change a lot. I like that we're going to see a longer contest for Challenger League, because right now the qualifier system to get into Challenger League is kind of a wash, because it's it can be a really long day. You might not get a preferable drawing for your bracket. I think this system is going to empower the best teams to get into Challenger League, and then that 1 relegation spot is going to be an eye-opener, I think, for a lot of teams, because you're going to have to fight every single game. You can't take anything for granted, because you finish 8th, you're gone.
Yeah, of course, as mentioned in that Dev Diary video, the 8th seed, if you qualify 8th in Season 8, then you get relegated into the Pro League, Challenger League immediately, and the Challenger League winner gets that slot. That's going to be huge. I mean, Challenger League has already proven itself to be a viable pathway to the Pro League. And now I think it's even more so now with the changes that we're introducing. So if you are interested in competing in the Challenger League and competing in the Pro League potentially, you can actually qualify for the Challenger Leagues very soon. Information on that will be coming out very shortly. Another big thing that we're doing is the Paris Majors. The Paris Majors are coming up in August 13th. And we have a new way of qualifying for the majors. Carrie, why don't you run us through the qualifications for the Paris Majors?
Yeah, so there's a.
Oh, my apologies. We're going to take a look at who has already qualified
Yeah.
for the Paris Majors first.
So Penta has already qualified for the Paris Major because they are the 6 invitational champions. And so that guaranteed them a spot to move into the Paris Major. Next up, all the teams that are here will be invited to the Paris Major because the top 2 seeded teams from Season 7, that's this one, will be going to the Paris Major. And DreamHack Valencia is going to have a lot of importance on it because the champion of DreamHack Valencia will also guarantee themselves a spot in the Paris Major. We will also have 4 online qualifiers, 1 from each region, with an extra online qualifier going to the region that performs the best at this event. And finally, the host country is going to be able to invite a team of their own, and that is France. So I'll let you speculate on who they may invite, but we'll see.
So, of course, Penta owns that first slot because of the 6 Invitational, but they also own a slot because they're here at the Season 7 finals. What's happening with that extra slot?
We're giving that extra slot to another online qualifier.
Another online qualifier. So the online qualifiers get around 6 slots. And how do those online qualifiers work for the Paris Majors if you are looking at qualifying for that?
Yeah, so if you're looking to qualify, you can. There's a 3-step system where the first step again is this open ladder, where as many teams as many teams can sign up as want to. So like an unlimited number of teams is what I am trying to say here. And again, they can play as many games as they want, earning as many points as they want to move into step 2, where they will battle against the Challenger League teams. You know, we wanted to give Challenger League and Pro League teams sort of a step up in this process, and so step 2 is where that's going to come into play. And step 2 is a closed tournament Swiss system. The winners from this step will move into step 3 and play against the Challenger League teams who haven't already qualified, by being the top 2 seeded teams from Season 7, and the winners get that online qualifier spot.
So really, I mean, this is no joke. This is a serious competition to get into the Paris Majors. You have to go through Challenger League teams, you have to go through Pro League teams, and then you have to qualify for that final slot for each region. Parker, that's going to be pretty exciting to see all those teams, gunning for that slot. What do you think? What comes to mind when you think about the Paris Majors?
I'm excited with the way that this structure is going to work. You know, I think it was really interesting to see the teams and the caliber of competition for the 6 Invitational. I like the system because I have a feeling that the best teams are going to end up getting out of this system in a good spot and getting those those invites. And I mean, I might be on a different side than other people in the community when I say at the major and at the invitational, I want the best teams. You know, I think it's nice to see upsets, and I think it's nice to have those Cinderella stories, but when you're competing at the biggest event, you want the teams that perform the best. If there's a team that wants to give it to the Pro League teams and Challenger League teams, this is their opportunity to prove that they're one of the best teams and make a name for themselves.
And we do see the majors as the highest level of competition in competitive Rainbow Six, and this is why for the majors we will have unlimited overtime in the grand final for both majors.
That's huge. I know a lot of people have been asking for that. Parker, why is overtime, unlimited overtime, so significant?
It's the most fair. It's the fairest system by a country mile. You let teams compete, and I mean, it's like, you can look at another esport that may come to mind that had unlimited overtime in a grand final in America not too many months ago, and it was wild to just see 2 incredibly even teams slug it out until one finally prevails. It's exciting. It's great for the viewer, and most importantly, it's great for the team.
Can't wait for the Paris Majors. As a reminder, it's coming up in August, on August 13th. And tickets are still available for the Paris Majors, so you can find those on the online right now on rainbow6.com for more information on that. And there is a $350,000 prize pool. That's not $350,000 tickets. If you buy 350,000 tickets, I will personally take you on a date in
Candlelit
Paris.
dinner with Justin.
Candlelit dinner in Paris with Justin. I will. That'll be fun.
It's an expensive dinner.
Yeah.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, that's a very expensive dinner. But
almost half a million.
He's like, it's worth it though.
It is worth it. I mean, just to sit down with me.
He's right.
It's pretty great. Yeah. So in summary, a new Pro League format, a new Pro League match format, a new way of qualifying for the Challenger League, and the Paris Majors. As a recap, let's take a look at the timeline once again, just to see all the ways that you can participate in Rainbow Six Siege Esports. Of course, you have the Go4 online tournaments every weekend, the LAN events with the DreamHacks, the 4 DreamHacks this year, the Challenger League qualifiers where anybody can sign up for that, the Pro League, of course, our top tier, highest level of competition, and the majors with Paris and the Six Invitational at the in next February.
Yeah, it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest season we've ever had. It's the season where we're implementing the most changes, or that we're ever going to have. It's the season that we're implementing the most changes. But it's the season where we'll also have the most opportunities for teams to get involved in competitive Rainbow Six. We have these 4 DreamHacks. We have the Go4s. We have the open qualifiers for Challenger League and for the majors. So it's the time to get involved if you're interested.
Best time to get involved in Rainbow Six Siege Esports. Parker, are you excited for this upcoming year?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's been awesome to watch the growth of the game as well as the growth of the pro scene. I think these changes are very welcomed. I'm really excited for them, you know, and I think that it's going to make for a great amount of competition between teams. And most importantly, it's doing so while still providing an excellent opportunity for people to engage by either playing in the ladder systems, qualifying for the majors, and then of course for the viewers at home, it's streamlining, I think, a lot of things with the broadcast that I think will make it a lot easier to follow and be more engaging for newer viewers too. So
better viewership, a better playing experience for these players, and a whole lot more esports coming up right for you. Speaking of esports, coming up right after this, we have Millennium versus Team Liquid. Do not go anywhere. Thank you so much for tuning in.
I think pick and ban is going to be great for this game because we are going to be able to work with the meta. Imagine we ban, he ban, and we can go back to season 1. You know, only termites. It's going to be a great feature in this game.
The new pick and ban system being added in, it'll change up the competitive side of the game a lot. Teams will have to kind of have strategies with and without certain operators all the time, and they'll have to prepare for certain teams and target bans, stuff like that. So I think it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out with it.
The new pick ban feature is really good as it sort of allows your own team to have to adapt and also the other team to adapt, so you can't sort of stick to your same strategies over and over again.
I think the new pick and ban system will impact a lot of teams because some teams have a really strong game only because they are based on some operators.
I think the pick and ban phase will be a massive game changer to a lot of teams because there's a lot of teams that have a player being really, really good on a specific operator and then they build their entire strategy around it. And if you can ban out that operator, there's a lot of teams that's going to have some issues.
I think the pick and ban phase, it's going to change a lot in the game. I think it's very nice, the idea, because you're getting a lot of more operators coming out, and these like if you don't like to play against an operator and you like some operator that kind of it gets kind of countered with another operator, you can ban him. So that's very nice. You could get a lot of more strategies going on. So yeah, I liked a lot. I really love that.